This is my first time actually talking to you guys. So as you guys saw in some of my previous clips, I am currently on a reading retreat with a couple of friends. We went to Blue Ridge, Georgia. So that is where we're at. We have a cabin and it is so cute. It's got this perfect little porch swing that I'm currently sitting on. And you know, I'm gonna be putting this porch swing to good use this week. We're here for 3 days and got in yesterday. It was a very, very long car ride, a little over 10 hours. So that was a fun little road trip moment. But yeah, yesterday we got in. One of my friends who's on this trip, she just recently graduated from college, and so we did like a little grad thing for her, got her a cake, got some decorations and stuff. We watched K-pop Demon Hunters, which I have in fact already seen. Love it. And one of my friends hasn't seen it, so we made her watch that. Spent the rest of the night just hanging out and all passed out because it was such a long travel day yesterday. This morning we got up and we went on a hike to Preacher's Rock. It was pretty cool. It was only supposed to be like a mile long, but it ended up being way longer than that. And like a good portion of it was all straight uphill, which we did not know. And that was exhausting. After that, we went and got lunch at this little Southern Comfort, I think it's what it was called, restaurant. Really good food. Then we went to a cute little bookstore that was a couple doors down, which I loved. It was called Copper Fox. It's pretty new, I'm pretty sure, and are still like working on their stock. So like there's not like a ton of stock when it comes to like the books, but they have like a lot of cute merchandise and like bookish merch and things in the shop. It also has like a little coffee cafe area, which is really cute. It's been very peaceful and relaxing being out in nature. We are back. I'm gonna be chilling at the cabin for the rest of today and probably all day tomorrow because I think it's supposed to rain, which is fine because this was supposed to be a reading retreat anyways. So we all packed tons and tons of books, which I will share a little bit later, but I did want to share the book that I'm about to start. So the first one that we're doing for our buddy read, so all three of us are going to read it, is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. This is on my spring TBR, so I'm very excited to finally read this. It is on the shorter side, so it's not going to take much time at all to get through this book. There's been some like mixed reviews on this one. Some people are really satisfied and say it feels like a fever dream, and then others are like that was a very unsatisfying ending. So I don't really know what to expect. I'm going in with just kind of like low expectations and just planning on being along for the ride, so we'll see what happens. This is about a group of women who are kept in this underground. There's a plane. Right. Sorry if you can still hear the plane. It's almost gone. But this is about a group of, I think, 40 women who are being kept in this underground bunker. It's kind of like almost like post-apocalyptic, and there's these guards who are watching over them, but they don't talk to them or interact with them at all. And these women don't have really any memories of how they got to be in this bunker. Our 40th prisoner, I believe she was either born in the bunker or she was brought in as like a baby. So she has zero memories of what the outside world was before coming to be in this bunker. And I believe she somehow helps these women escape and they enter this world where there are no men. I don't know. I'm very intrigued and excited to get further in. I feel like it's going to be really, really good. This will be the first book on the agenda. I'm very excited, and we'll give some updates when I have some. Today's going to be a very chill day and just relax. Excited to unwind and just like hang out with some of my friends and enjoy some really good books. It is the next morning. Yesterday, we all took naps, which was needed after our hike. I did get to read a little bit of our buddy read, which is I Who Have Never Known Men. I am like 60 pages in at this point. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of a different writing style than I'm used to. It's all one chapter, like there are no chapter breaks in this book. Our main character, it's kind of just like her inner dialogue for majority of the book. Like she does have some conversations with the women in this bunker, but a lot of the time it's just her kind of daydreaming because she's only ever known this bunker in this cage because she came into it when she was a child. So she doesn't have any memories to latch on to from before, like the world before she came to be here. She feels a little bit like an unreliable narrator in a way just because of how much she does daydream. You guys know how I feel about unreliable narrators. I don't love them because I don't like not knowing what is real and what is not real. That's something I've been trying to get used to. But overall, I am excited because I feel like I just got to a part where it's going to start picking up and getting kind of interesting. That's all I'm going to say on it for now. I know a lot of people like to go into this kind of blind, so I'm not going to like give a ton of detail of what's happening. I think I'm going to probably finish that this morning. I know we're going to go get coffee at some point. Very excited for that. But I'm trying to decide what my next book is going to be after our buddy read. There's two that I'm kind of like eyeing. The first one is The Bright Years by Sarah Demoff, who's the author of The Burning Side. I loved her writing style in The Burning Side. I know this is technically her debut novel, so I'm really excited to read this one because I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I don't know much about the plot. I do know it has to do with generational trauma, like family dynamics and issues issues. If I know anything from after reading The Burning Side, I know she's going to do so incredibly well. I'm really excited to get into this one. I might just go into it sort of blind. Like I know like the bare minimum, but I don't want to like read too much into it. Or I might pick up The Caretaker by Marcus Clure. This is the author of We Used to Live Here. So this is his next horror. This one is following a woman who gets this job opportunity where she has to like take care of this property that's like out in the woods. It's very isolated, and she has this like very specific set of rules that she has to follow. Otherwise, something bad will happen, and she doesn't know what that bad thing is. I'm really curious about this one. Also, since we are in a cabin in the middle of the woods, it makes me more tempted to read this one just because I feel like the vibes, like this would be perfect and very fitting for where I'm currently at. We'll see. I might pick up this one, or I'll pick up The Bright Years. I also brought Love Me, Stalk Me by Laura Bishop because I wanted like a fun candy read, like a lighthearted book, which that I like don't have to take serious. Like this one is a dark romance, a girl who like downloads an AI boyfriend app. There's an actual guy on the other end of the line, and he is becoming obsessed with her. So we'll see where this day takes us, because I truly don't know what book or books I'm gonna read, but I have options. You know, we love diversity up in here with our reading. That is the update at the moment, but I'm gonna continue reading this and hopefully finish it. It is a couple days later. I was so bad at filming on this trip, guys. I'm so sorry. I was also filming videos for a TikTok that I was doing. I do feel like I had a hard time knowing when I had filmed something for TikTok and when I had filmed something for YouTube. But yeah, so I am back home, as you can see, and I just wanted to do a quick recap of everything that we did and end with the books that I actually was able to complete and the ratings I gave them and whatnot. So on our final day after the last time I talked to you guys, we went to a coffee shop that was super cute, and then a few doors down there was like an antique mall. I did almost buy this like DIY stained glass cat picture. I was so close to buying it, guys, but at the end of the day there were like some drips and things. I'm actually going to try to DIY it myself. I do love a good DIY. And then after that we went to this Bigfoot museum. Yes, we did all buy t-shirts. Yes, we did. It was necessary. Yes, the gift shop was very gimmicky, but like it was so much fun. Glad we were able to kind of wrap up the trip doing that. And then after that we had like the rest of the afternoon that we just spent back at the cabin, and then obviously the next day was just a travel day, so I did not film anything, and it was just another over 10-hour car ride home. I don't want to do that again. I do want to do another reading retreat, but I think in a different location that doesn't require 10 hours to get to said location. But it was such a great trip. I'm so glad I was able to go on it with a few of my friends. We did in fact finish a couple of books on our car ride down. I don't think I mentioned this in this vlog. Me and my friend, we listened to 5 by Alona Bannister. It is told from the perspective of this like omniscient narrator, and from the get-go you know one of these 5 strangers who's waiting for a train is gonna die. You just don't know which. As the story is progressing, you get chapters from each of these characters' perspectives, and you get to know more about them as a person, what brought them to be at this train station, and like what kind of person they are morally. Then in between those chapters you get this omniscient narrator again, and they're talking and kind of like guiding you through your thoughts and feelings about these characters. Knowing that one of them is gonna die, it kind of breaks the fourth wall. You end up being kind of the judge, jury, and executioner of these 5 characters, these 5 total strangers. It was just so fascinating. I really enjoyed it. It was very immersive, and I highly recommend it as an audiobook. I think the audio is so good. And then when we're on the trip, you guys saw that we were doing a buddy read. We were reading I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I think that's where I'm settling for this book. It definitely felt like a fever dream. Also, to an extent, I almost felt like, why am I reading this? Based on the ending and all the things our character goes through, it felt almost pointless to me, but at the same time I think that was the point. After I finished reading it, I was just sitting there staring at the wall for a solid 10 minutes. My friends were like concerned for me because I could not stop thinking about this book. I do think that this would be a fabulous book club book because there is so much to talk about and unpack in this, even though not a whole lot happens, and it's more like you have to draw your own conclusions and not everything is fully answered, so you are forced to make your own decision on what happened with these characters. I think it's one of those books that's going to linger for quite a while. It definitely made me uncomfortable. This book made me uncomfortable. And then after that book, after feeling so brain dead, I decided to pick up my candy read. I had 2 other books that I was like, oh, I'm going to read these. But then after reading that, I was like, no, honestly, I need something that's just like super mindless and just a fun time.
time. And so I decided to pick up my dark romance book, which is Love Me, Stalk Me by Laura Bishop. I didn't say much about this book, and I don't feel like I need to. The general gist is this girl downloads this AI boyfriend app because her current boyfriend isn't fulfilling this like emotional or physical or mental need that she needs. She starts communicating with this app, and this guy is hacked into her phone and is actually answering her instead of the AI. Like I said, it is a candy read. It was not the best book I've ever read, but it also wasn't the worst book I've ever read. There wasn't much of a plot. It is a lot of just their back and forth communication over this app. So like they're texting back and forth. Murphy says hi. So there wasn't much with the actual plot, but it was just fun. I did finish it after I got home, but I'm just going to go ahead and count it because I talked about it and I am done with it. And one other audiobook that we listened to on our car ride home is The Anniversary by Alex Finley. I had a lot of mixed feelings on this one. I was very invested from start to finish. I was invested. I wanted to know what was going to happen, where our characters were going to go, but I was still left kind of unsatisfied, which is unfortunate. The story is following this small town where there is this serial killer that is at large. Every May 1st, he kidnaps a girl from this town and she's never to be seen again. Our story starts off with a girl and this guy. So you get dual POV, these two high schoolers who are both in the same study hall and are kind of friends, also kind of crushing on each other at the same time. And the girl ends up going to this concert one night and she ends up being one of the victims of the serial killer on May 1st. But the serial killer lets her go. He lets her escape and calls her one of the lucky ones. The storytelling of this book, it goes to every May 1st. So it takes place over the course of, I think, 9 or 10 years. And you go to all these May 1st and you see what our characters are doing, what is happening with them, what point of their life they're in. And our male main character, he gets into some trouble that same night that she gets kidnapped and eventually his mother is murdered. And so his storyline is him kind of trying to figure out the mystery of her death, trying to figure out who killed her, why they killed her. Their stories both kind of slowly intertwine throughout all these years. I think there were too many things going on at the same time. I think it was necessary for them both to have their own journeys and things that they were going through, but it did feel like it was too much happening. There were too many characters mentioned. I was confused so many times about what was happening, what time it was, where we were at in our story, and I think it just got a little too messy for me. And maybe that's because I listened to it as an audiobook. Maybe I would have liked it better if I read it physically. I was invested, so that's why I have a lot of mixed feelings on this book. And those were all the books that I was able to complete on my reading retreat with some of my friends. I'm so glad we went on this trip, and I'm really looking forward to the next one that we decide to plan. Feeling recharged again, which feels really, really good. Also, I've started packing things because I already mentioned in another video, I'm going to be moving soon. Getting back into the swing of that, and before like the craziness of moving and the unknown and the what ifs of all of that feels good. So glad I was able to do that. Thank you guys for following along with me. Once again, sorry I didn't film much. I truly just got very confused and mixed up with the two different videos that I was filming, but I did post a TikTok of our trip. So if you want to see a very quick capture of what all we did, you can check that out. Thank you guys so much for following along with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.